Let's talk about 5 common myths around divorce that are simply not true. The first one is that divorce is a shame or some kind of a failure. Divorce is not a failure. The marriage was a failure. The relationship did not work out. Either they were unhappy in the marriage, or it was an abusive or even a violent relationship, and therefore divorce is the solution to be able to move out of that deep unhappiness or lack of fulfillment or lack of safety that they felt in the marriage. So definitely do not consider divorce to be a failure. I know that as a culture or as a society we tend to celebrate the longevity of marriages. How long a marriage lasts is seen as a measure of the success of that marriage, but it's not really a marathon, or it's not really a race. A marriage is supposed to be a meeting of 2 minds, 2 souls, 2 hearts, in such a way that they can both fulfill each other and grow together in a way that elevates the life and the purpose for both of them. If that is not happening in any particular relationship, then it makes much more sense for them to separate and find their happiness separately. So that's the first myth. The second myth is that this is it. Your chance is over. You're never going to find love again. This is it. You're never going to find love again. You had your chance. That is a myth. There are right now 8 billion people on this planet. The other myth is that there is no one who has been made for you, as we are told in Bollywood films or even in Hollywood films. The relationship between the two of you is something you have to co-create. So it's very much possible that you will find someone else who will match what your requirements are in terms of your values, your aspirations, someone who will cherish you, someone who will make you feel safe, and for whom you will do the same. And then you will create together your happily even after. The third myth is that it's better to stay in a marriage so that the children have both parents, rather than struggling on your own as a single mother. And honestly, if you speak to all the single mothers right now, and there are millions of them across the world, across the country, they will tell you how difficult and painful it was to be with somebody who was not an equal partner, who behaved like a child themselves and someone they had to look after, rather than someone who co-parented with them to look after the children. So many women have already been feeling like single parents even within the context of marriage. Now, as genuine single parents, they actually have the freedom and the space to live on their own and take decisions without having to take any kind of abuse, violence, criticism, gaslighting, or all the other negativities that came with the marriage. So that's another myth busted. The fourth myth about divorce is that finances will be a nightmare once you are single and separated. That's not true at all. Many women, even though they may not handle their personal finances, are managing finances for the household. Those who are working in jobs or in offices are very much capable of managing the money in their professional space. All it needs is a little bit of training, maybe a workshop, maybe work with someone, a friend or a well-wisher who's willing to guide you through the processes. It's absolutely not rocket science. The fifth myth is that divorce destroys children. That is absolutely untrue. Children are extremely sensitive and understand very clearly when there is dysfunction or abuse or violence going on in the household. Children who see their mother being abused will grow up to either tolerate abuse because that is what they have seen, or they will grow up to be the abusers. So we definitely don't want children to stay in an environment where there is clearly unhappiness between both their parents. Children will actually thrive when they are separated from the abusing parent, or if the parents are moving apart for various other reasons, for the children to have 2 separate households where they can have a space of their own and where they can see their parents thriving and living happily even after. So here are the top 5 myths around divorce busted.